All right, so I think let's start the session. So hello everyone and good morning. I'm so pumped up by seeing 500 plus audience. It's really great to see 500 plus audience at 11 a.m. in the morning. I really didn't expect it. So I'm pretty sure the other speakers also got pumped up by see the numbers. So first of all, welcome to the Marketing Fest by Exabytes, another great show by Exabytes. So let me introduce myself. I'm your host today. I'm Nowrid. I'm the head of digital marketing for Juwai IQI. And I'm pretty sure you all are having a great event so far. And I can guarantee you that you guys will get more excited because I've got four amazing speakers with me to talk about copywriting. And by the way, the topic we are covering, what actually mentioned already, that how to drive and increase your ROI by improving your copywriting. So I'm pretty sure all the digital marketeers and the copywriters out there will find it pretty useful. But okay, I would like to start the session quickly. So we're going to start it by introducing our speakers. So I'm going to start it with Dheepu. So Dheepu, and then Wen, and then Archangela, if you can introduce yourself. From there, we can start our session. Thank you to Dheepu.
Right. Thanks, Nowrid, for that amazing introduction. I understand it's still early morning, but it's exciting to join here. So I am from Sendhelper. So Sendhelper is an online platform. It's a mobile-first app for home services in Singapore. So we are the #1 home services brand in Singapore, but looking forward to expand in Malaysia soon. Right, so I head the content team. So it's basically content marketing, and I focus more on organic, but paid as well.
Fantastic. Okay, now over to Wen.
So I'm Olwen. I have traveled around the world, and I have landed in Malaysia. I'm a Dutch Indonesian born, and currently I'm working with the Two Stallions digital marketing agency. My base is in Malaysia. The headquarters is in Singapore, and we operate throughout the region. My specialty and my passion is content marketing. I consider myself a wordsmith. I love words, and I love the power they have over us and their ability to influence us and evoke emotion. And that's me in a nutshell.
And I'm sure about it that you have a lot of passion about writing, because we work in a project, and I can tell you Wen is really passionate about the word and the writing. So now the next speaker is Archangela. Archangela, it's over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. Good morning. I'm Archangela Genoveva, but for short, you can just call me Veva. I'm part of performance marketing team on Gojek. So basically, I run all the ads from the Gojek, and I'm based in Indonesia. Nice to know you all.
Great. Okay, so guys, we'd like to start with a question. I think that's what everyone is confused. To me, like when it comes about digital marketing, from my personal perspective, my personal opinion, I feel like the copywriters are not getting the enough highlight the way the marketeers got. Probably, Fefa, you can relate with it, but I always feel like copywriters get underrated, right? So my first question I'll start from when I heard about it, like a good copy and a good copywriter can make an impact on your sales, especially when you're running the digital marketing campaigns. So how true it is? What's your experience about it?
I absolutely agree. As I mentioned in my intro, words have an amazing power over us. So if the copy of an ad is no good, then of course it's going to have less impact. So words have this amazing ability to either pull out an emotion we're already feeling or to make us feel an emotion. And that is essentially what, copywriting for ads is we have to try and drive an emotion. And whether, if the copy's running well, if it's working well, if it's actually got that kick, then of course you're going to pay more attention to that ad. And I think people forget that when they're looking at an ad and they're just going, oh, pretty pictures.
Great. So, okay, Archangela, you and me are kind of in the same boat, because I started my career as a performance marketing executive. And I used to get a lot of highlight for that after running the campaigns. But as a performance marketer, how do you see that? Do you think copywriter or copywriting can make an impact on the sales when it comes about the digital campaigns?
Yes, I do agree that a good copywriting is also important role, when it comes to the advertisement, because good copywriting can also help to build the strong brand image and also create trust with the audience and grab the audience attraction, and also not forget to mention differentiate our brand to competitors. So I think like it's very, very crucial also, other than just visuals and banners.
Great. So Dheepu, I'd like to come to you as you have the experience of managing a copy team. So from that perspective, what's your opinion on the question? What do you think? A copywriter really can impact on your sales, or it's just like should be underrated like the way we are expecting?
Well, I'm a writer myself, so I would never say that a copywriter should be underrated. I think we are way at the top. So basically, what's copywriting? Copywriting is you're writing to promote your business, isn't it? So that's where you connect with your customers, where your customers come to know about your brand. So that's where a copywriter comes in, and you talk about the benefits, like customers. You have a problem, so we as writers, we use words to solve your problem, or at least offer a solution to solve your problem. So you talk about benefits, your problems that you have, and end of the day, as a product or as a service, you need to make their life easier. So it's the copywriters, so it's the words that make your life easier, or you find a solution. So that's why we find, like, I mean, I want to highlight on SEO, because a good copywriter know how to create SEO optimized content, right? Use the right keywords that people are searching for. So if your copy is bad, I mean, digital marketing, I mean, paid is different, but on organic front, if you're using the wrong keywords, or if you're not targeting the right people, you're not going to be found online on search engine result page. Ideally, you want to be on the top 10, or be on the top 3 results, right? Because second page is graveyard, as they say. So there's no point being found on the second page. So it's the copywriters who decide the actual words, who target the right words to reach the right audience. So if copywriting fails, I would say your business failed in communicating with people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with it. And I'd like to add a little bit on top of it. I think when we're running the ads, the 3 things actually go side by side: the advertiser, the designer, and also the writer. But why the writers, I will keep them a little bit of in front, because the writers not only writing the caption, they also contribute into the design caption as well. So, you know, like this design is something that draws your attention for the first time. So if you don't put a good copy, then what Dheepu mentioned, and Olwen and Archangela mentioned, Fefa mentioned, that we might lose the customer as well. So, okay, that brings me to the next question. You know, we talked about how important copywriters are playing the role, but, you know, like when we're writing the copy, Archangela, I'd like to start with you. So do you think there's any kinds of word we should avoid when we are writing copy from your experience when you run the digital ads?
I think it would be the over-promising or the misleading message, yeah. Especially for the example, when we want to promote like some kind of promo, sometimes like brands emphasize on the numbers of the promo and etc. But they forgot to mention like several stuffs, which maybe like the TNC and etc. So the customers can get the mislead message. So I think like that's a very maybe like it's a small thing, but it's very crucial when it comes to creating the copy for the advertisement. Yeah.
I completely agree on the over-promising part. So I'd like to hear from you, what's your opinion on it? What should they avoid when they're writing a copy?
Personally, the thing I hate most is when we try to sell stuff with over jargonized or highly technical language. Unless your audience is already in the know, then there's no point in using language that your average audience isn't going to understand. Recently, I was editing a bunch of articles for a friend of mine, not even a client, and I had to dilute it because it was so difficult to read. And I know there's all these readability tests that we can do for any piece of writing we write, whether it's an essay, an article, or a piece of copy for an ad. As long as it's an inaccessible text, there is no point. So my key tip, I guess, is to make sure that you're using words that are easy to understand. Even if you feel like, oh, maybe I'm treating my audience like they're a little dumb, you're making it more accessible.
Right. So Dheepu, I'd like to know your opinion on it as well.
Right, I agree with Olwen, right? Use of jargons. I mean, I come across copies where the they try to be smart, use jargons, but as a customer, I find it like second guessing. I might need to get a dictionary to understand what it is, right? So make my life more easier with simple words. But at the same time, there's this thing called broccoli words, like bland, probably use less words in that sense in the context, right? Let's say I'm very happy, right? You could say I'm delighted, I'm excited, or something like that. The use of really, really happy, very happy, these kind of, but when you go on digital marketing platforms like Google Ads, you have a limitation like 30 characters or it's 60 characters to describe your business, right? So make use of the exact power words, I would say, and avoid adjectives. Like you don't have to simply describe your nouns, your business, if it doesn't serve any purpose at all. Right? So save on words, you avoid adjectives and use more power words that will trigger some sort of emotion in your customer. So yeah, be frugal with words, but use simple targeted ones.
Absolutely. So guys, remember what all the speakers mentioned. They mentioned actually the three key things. Don't do the overpromise in your copy. Try to write easy and not too technical. And then also what George last mentioned, that you need to probably consider to use the strong words to draw the attention. So now, George, I'd like to start with you. Okay, we talked about what kind of thing we should avoid, but what kind of word or what kind of thing we should use when we are writing the copy? So we talked about what we shouldn't, but what we should. Now we can talk about what we should.
Right, right. So power words again. Is it again the purpose of a word is to create an emotion, right? So is it creating any sort of emotion? Is it creating a sense of urgency? Is it creating a sense of affirmation, right? Or be it security. Like if I talk of my platform, people are looking for safe, secure payment gateways. So in that sense, if I need to project myself as a safe platform to make online payments. So I always use the word like secure, trusted payment gateways, things like that. And if I have to say that my service is trusted, it's kind of an authority. So, or urgency, maybe like fear of missing out. Hey, there's a flash sale or limited time offer, or it's a last day, final day, there's a flash sale going on. So I would say these kind of power words that generate interest as well as the desired emotion.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Dheepu, for mentioning some strong words example. So now when I'd like to know your opinion on it, what kind of word we should use when you're writing the copy?
I completely agree with Dheepu. You know, like make sure you're using those power words that actually get what you want. I mean, it's really easy what not to use, like we just did. It is very hard to find the words that really fit your brand and your message. So one of the things I like to do with my teams, particularly if I have a new member on board, is to bring them on board and go, how do you feel about our brand? Or how do you feel about the client brand if it's about a client? Like, what does it make you think? So for example, with Two Stallions, one of our things is we want to put ourselves across as trusted and noble and strong, because that is what stallions are to us. And this is one of the things that we want to enhance when we are talking in our copy and in our messaging. So it's very complicated to find that emotion and the words that are linked to that brand, but they are there. So it's very important that you have a list of words that meet your requirements and actually spread your message in the way that you want it to, and the way that your audience is going to hear it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Archangela, I'd like to ask you the same question. What kind of copy we should create to draw the audience attention?
I would say there are several steps that we need to consider for creating the copy. The first one is, I think we need to be direct, because the audience is looking for maybe like some kind of benefits or solution from our brands. So if we have like some kind of promo, it will be very beneficial for them to emphasizing on the promo numbers, because they can get the message very easily. And then we have to create and using the clear and very specific CTA, the call to actions. So the audience will know what's the next action plan they're gonna do after they saw our ads. And also, I think it's kind of important to use the terms of you instead of they or us to make the audience feel like more relevant, because this ads is actually personalized for them.
Yes. So I think, yeah, I mean, what to do and what not to do, it's kind of a very tricky question. So what I do, I actually read a lot of advertisement every day. So those who are running Facebook advertisement, you can actually go and find Facebook ad library, and you can see the ads are running by Microsoft, Mind Valley, Google. And then by seeing those copy, sometimes you'll get an idea what to do and what not to do. And you can find all the suggestions were mentioned by Dheepu and Archangela, everything you'll find into those copies as well. So guys, take a look, and I think then you guys can relate it more relevantly. So, okay, I'd like to come to the next question, and I'd like to start with when first. So, when there is a confusion, okay, there's a confusion that people think the long copy is better. Some people think the short and sweet is better when especially comes about digital marketing. And even in my team, I'm having the fight. I love short and sweet. My performance marketing lead said, no, you should go for the longer caption. And then we have a lot of fight. And yeah, most of the times we go for the dynamic creative ads. But from your experience by working in this industry, what do you think? Where we should applicable long copies and where the short copies?
I think it's a really good question because, like you said, there is this war waging between these two ideas. A lot of the time, if you Google, like, what is the correct length for, my LinkedIn ad, and they'll give you some sort of on the jumble, but the next page will say something completely different. So my argument is that most of the time, your audience is going to flick past your campaign post or even your organic post, and they're not even going to pay attention. So whatever it is you're doing, long, short, that first line, those first 100 characters need to catch your attention. If they don't, it doesn't matter what else you put in there. It gets lost in the craziness that we see nowadays. This is particularly true of the very, very busy channels that we see. Twitter, for example, is almost impossible to grab someone's attention on nowadays. So I think it depends. If you have a very long message that you do want to get across, that's fine. Go right ahead and put in a long caption. But whatever you do, make sure that first line is really, really captivating, because otherwise it doesn't matter. Oh, and put your CTA somewhere at the top, because otherwise you'll never catch them.
Yeah, I agree with it. So if people are not finding the first line interesting, then probably they're not going to read your second, third, fourth, or whatever line you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now I'd like to ask to Dheepu. Dheepu, what do you think about it? Long copy, short copy. If long copy, where it is suitable? If short copy, where it's suitable?
Well, it depends, isn't it? Well, it depends on your brand, first of all. If you're Apple, Nike, you don't even have to write a single word. It just sells like that. So it doesn't matter whether you're writing short form or long form. Again, you need to consider different factors, who you are writing this for and which medium. So if you're writing for younger people who are more on Snapchat or Instagram Reels, which last only for an hour, then probably, yes, that's where you need to nail your headline. You need to land your grand message within that 30 to 60 characters, because they are not going to read through, basically. So short copy works there. How about long form writing blogs? People want to know more about your products. So there you can't go through the longer words. You need to really explain. So SEO, I mean, Google definitely rewards you for longer articles, like 2,000 words, 3,000 words. It rewards you on the SEO front. So if you're writing a blog or if it's a video content, yes, long form articles or long form content works. But for digital ads, or whether you are targeting younger audience on novel platforms, I would say short form copies. So it really depends. There is no black and white answer. You need to test it. You need to do A/B testing to see what works for your audience.
All right. So Archangela, I'd like to ask you the same question, but I'd like to add something on top of it. What Dheepu said, I actually completely agree, because, when you run a campaign in Malaysia, usually if the caption is long, it works pretty well. But it's for Canada, then it usually works a shorter caption. So I'd like to know your experience and your thought on it. And if you have any particular experience for the industry you're working on, you can probably share us as well.
Yes, I do agree that basically it will back to who's our audience first, yeah. But I personally think that the more direct is the better, because we have to remember that the audience only have a very minimum attention span, maybe like just about 3 seconds after they've seen our ad. So as what mentioned before, it's very crucial to grab their attention very fast because they can get our message.
Okay, okay. All right, so that brings me to the next question, and I'd like to start that question from you, Archangela, because you work in the ad industry more. So there's a debate. Okay, some people said like that. That's what you mentioned, the direct copy. Right? Some people actually said the direct and sales-oriented copy actually better and probably perform well. But some people said no, you should connect people emotionally, like what actually when mentioned, right? So we can actually see there's two opinion, and I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, because in this digital marketing industry is all about the best practice depending on the industry as well. So from your experience, what do you think? Direct and sales driven copy, emotional or humanized copy should be more preferable?
I think the direct would be better, yeah. But actually, first of all, we have to know the objective first. Because maybe like if we want to create a very short-term selling, the more direct will be better. But if we want to create like the brand engagement, therefore more emotional appealing will be can be used for our advertisement. And not forget to mention, other than just copy, like visuals also play a very crucial part on this, yeah.
Okay, so now when I'd like to hear from you that what's your opinion about it, because you talked about emotional content more. So again, there's no right or wrong, but what's your experience, and why you justify that your experience is right?
So my experience and my opinion, my theory is that people are more likely to connect with the brand if they have an emotional connection with it. And that's, from my experience, across the board, whether it's an advertising piece, the blog articles you're writing for SEO, or even just a long form thing that you put up on LinkedIn for organic reach. So yes, of course, direct marketing has its place. It depends on the sector you're in. I imagine it would be tricky to have indirect marketing if you're, for example, running a fast food place. F&B is often very much direct because it's B2C, really quick, really easy. If you're trying to build a customer base, in my opinion, I think you need to be more emotionally driven, because you're trying to close the customer, not that sale. You want to get the next sale and the one after that. You want to be top of mind.
Okay, good debate. So Dheepu, I just want to see you are going to add some fire on top of it. So looking forward to it.
Right. Yeah, so again, it depends. Most of your questions, the answer is depends, right? So whether it's direct or emotional, it really depends on where your target customers are. If you look at the marketing funnel, so the marketing funnel includes different stages, right? So it's awareness, you have evaluation, and then you convert. So if you're targeting people to create that awareness that they don't even know that there's a problem exists, like we didn't know we wanted iPhone until Apple came and told us that, hey, you need an iPhone, right? We were just using our normal phones. We never knew that we wanted a smartphone. So if you're targeting those awareness funnel, at the top of the funnel, I would say you are nurturing your audience. So yes, go for emotional content. Tell them this makes your life easier. Make them more connected to the brand. Same as evaluation, like people are looking at different products or different services, then obviously you need to trigger that persuasion or that psychological trigger to go for your product or service. If you're looking at conversion, then yes, just go for the straight call to action, right? Buy now, or there's a sale now kind of thing. So it really depends on at what stage your audience is, whether it's top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or at the bottom of the funnel.
Completely agree. And we also see the difference between some brands as well. Like say for when I see the advertisement of iPhone, I see a picture and in the billboard, and there's only one word is written, this shot is take on iPhone 11. So, that's not very like direct, but it's kind of like not very sales driven. But if you see Samsung plays with the specification like 100x zoom, and also the pricing as well. And I completely agree with Dheepu. It actually depends on the funnel. If you're creating the awareness, then it can be a little bit of more general. If it's for the conversion, then it can be a little direct. So for the people like Archangela and me, we are actually more responsible for the conversion. So we prefer a little bit of more direct. But at the same time, as we do the personal branding, on the personal branding, I think it's all about connecting people emotionally. That's great. Okay, I think we're going to have some questions from audience. But before that, I want to take the question from audience. I'd like to ask you all the same question, that I want one tips from all of you, that how a person can write amazing copy. If I'm like novice, but I want to improve my copywriting skill, or probably I'm a copywriter, or I'd like to take it to the next level. What would be one advice you'll give each? So I'd like to start with Dheepu.
Wow. Okay. There is one advice. I mean, this is one advice that I got in my early stage of my career, is that when I wanted to be a writer, is to know that every word carries their weight. Words are so powerful. So every time you craft a word, right, remember that it's going to have a different meaning than what you intend. So when you send it out, make sure that you know that every word carries weight. And also know your audience. If you're writing for everybody, they say you're writing for nobody. So write for the exact people that you want to reach out to, right? So have your customer persona, I would say, have that person at the top of your head when you write a copy, who you want to reach out to. So yeah, and also be comfortable with analytics, like data as a writer. I mean, we writers hate numbers, data, but it's okay. I mean, you can look at numbers to see what works for you, which like an A/B testing, you know what works, and you can further improve on that. So get comfortable with a little bit of data. Make sure that you know that words carry weight, and always have that person at the top of your head who you are writing for.
Absolutely. So now I would like to ask Archangela, probably you can share your opinion more from the advertisement perspective, how a person can improve in copywriting.
I think we should know what's the objective first, yeah, and knowing what result that we want to achieve. As mentioned earlier, maybe like if we want to create for the awareness, maybe like we can do like some kind of emotional approach, but maybe like on the conversion funnel, we can actually put some kind of direct sales copy. And secondly, we have to know who are our audience. And also by identifying the right audience, we can create the right message, so the message can be delivered very well. And not forget to mention, we have to highlighting the USPs, and also determine the marketing channel that we want to use.
Okay, great. So I think now it's to you.
So I'm going to give some very generic advice, and I think this applies for writers who are writing fiction, copywriters who are writing ads. You have to read. You have to read and read and read. And it doesn't matter if you are reading books, if you're reading articles, if you're reading newspapers, if you're scouring the internet to read all the ad copies that you can find. If you're not reading, you will not be delivering good writing, because you're not expanding your mind, you're not expanding your vocabulary. And it is the best way to learn as well. Like if you're reading other people's work, you can really understand, hey, this person is really connecting with me on this level. How do I do that? I mean, I'm sure Dheepu and Viva will agree with me. It's like, how often have you looked back at something you wrote early in your career and gone, oh no, did I do that? That's terrible.
Right.
And then you look at your work now and you go, wow.
I agree, because reading advertisement helps me a lot to create the caption. So I'd like to add one suggestion on top of it. So when we are writing copies, probably we can follow a simple step which I find pretty useful. We can start with a hook. So one of the example is probably if you're selling e-readers, you can say like, in this pandemic, 70% people in Kuala Lumpur has bought e-reader. Do you know 70% people in Kuala Lumpur has bought e-reader? You can start with that line. So that can be a hook can be start a shocking statement or something interesting. And then you can open the loop a little bit, talk about the product, and then you can create the desire part. You can actually offer the discount or the USP you can mention, and then end with the CTA. So this format, when I write caption, I applied and it turned out as a very good success for me. So I'm not sure it will be applicable for you guys or not, but okay, thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to take the Q&A from the audience. So just let me open the Q&A, guys. So the first question I can see came from Ethan Tan. Do you have a formula that you could share to create an attractive ad copy? I think that's what we just discussed, right? So would you like to add something on top of it? Anyone? Archangela or Dheepu, or you think you just added it? It's fine.
I guess an attractive copy would have a very catchy headline. So as we discussed earlier, the purpose of the headline is to persuade the writer, or even the first sentence is to persuade the reader or your target audience to read the next sentence, right? Or to direct them to take and decide action, like a call to action, right? So definitely a great headline to land your brand message, like an elevator pitch. You have like less than 20 seconds or less than even 5 seconds to catch the attention. So a great headline and a visual copy would be great. Like you need to have a great visual, like maybe a video or a copy with an image. A copy with an image usually gets, I think it's about more than 94% views compared to just the words. And even videos convert more, up to 86%. So the numbers are huge. I mean, if you can see the drastic difference. So a great copy would have great headline, curated words, great images, and absolutely fantastic videos.
Okay, I'll move to the next question because we have a lot of questions and I'll try to cover all of it. So what do you think of GPT-3 AI writing tools out there matching up to human copywriters? When? I'd like to give that question to you.
I'm very happy you're giving it to me because this is something I've been exploring the last year. My opinion, it's not quite there yet, but it is very, very close. We've actually been using it to see if we can help generate blog articles for ourselves internally. And I'm actually very impressed with the way that the AI technology is developing. I do not think yet that it's there at a human level. Maybe that's because I'm a perfectionist and I want my copy to be perfect. But I definitely think you can use it right now as a tool to inspire. Like if you're stuck on a paragraph, not sure what to do with this particular topic, then throw it into a program and see what it spits out. Maybe you'll find some way to craft your own words from that. But I don't think we're there yet. Soon.
Okay. So the next question.
Sorry. I just want to add on that. I want both Archangela, I want to understand your opinion on Google actually emphasizing more on responsive search ads than expanded text ads, right? So they are actually replacing copywriters. They are actually creating headlines and descriptions for us. So basically as a copywriter, I have no more role as such. So they are phasing out expanded text ads gradually, since July, I guess. So even Google has taken that step to sort of use their AI to replace manual writing. Have you noticed any difference over there? So that's another example of AI replacing us people.
I know this was directed at you, but I actually want to jump in on that because I didn't even think of that because we've been using that for so long now that it's part of the architecture in which we develop our ads. But you're completely right. I mean, I think it's made our lives easier as copywriters, particularly when it comes to ad writing, which is where I personally struggled in the beginning of my career. I don't know how Viva would agree with me on that.
All right. So the next question is from Janet Koo. I'd like to pass it to Archangela. Is there any words that Facebook/Instagram algorithm ban are not preferred that would affect the post boosting?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
Any word we should get aware of that probably banned by Facebook or Instagram, or if they use that kind of word that can affect the reach of the post or the advertisement?
Okay. So basically, Facebook and Instagram has their own limitation and also rules. Yeah. So some words basically it's prohibited. Some kind of the over-promising ones, which is maybe like using by using this product you can get blah 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 blah. I think like it's prohibited, and also some words like related to for the current issue, like related to the COVID and also the pharmacies and etc. is actually prohibited. So yeah, there are terms and rules that we have to consider when we are using that.
And I'd like to add one thing with Archangela. You know, like we cannot make direct promises. Like say for if you're running an advertisement for like investments, you can let's say invest today and get 20% return after 5 years. You cannot mention it specific, but you can say like invest today and get the best return within 5 years. So that's what Facebook actually prefer. That's great, Archangela. So the next question, you guys choose whom to take. Just a minute. I just lost the question. Is it possible to make a campaign to reach our customers in social media platform? Is it possible to make a campaign to reach our customers in social media platform? So I think the answer should be yes, right? Okay, I better go to the next question. My name is Kiki from Indonesia. I want to ask about email marketing. By the way, I'm a newbie in digital marketing, but I'm still curious about demographic location. When we are using MailChimp, is it good for us to make this as our cast? I'm not sure, was it cast persona or not? Probably they're asking about should they use MailChimp to reach their target customer or not? What's your opinion on it? Anyone want to take it?
I wouldn't, I mean, you can use any tool that you find best for your needs. So you can use MailChimp, Sendinblue or email or Octopus. So I'm not sure what the question is about, but then if the question is whether you can use MailChimp, yes, that's a great lead generation platform where you can actually set up your drip campaigns to send out periodic emails to your target audience until they take a desired action. So again, talking about the marketing funnel from awareness to conversion to delight. Like they use the product and they're delighted. So it's actually converting a user to your brand ambassador. So you can use MailChimp. Yes, email marketing is great for that. If you're asking specifically if you should use MailChimp, yeah, if it fits into your marketing plans, yes, definitely.
Okay, so the next question is pretty interesting. Anyone can jump in. Would it help to put point form if it's a long caption? So if they write the long caption, do you think it's better to write in point form or how? Olwen?
Well, my opinion, I think it depends. If you have one of those really long captions and some of it can be put into bullet forms, then please do. People can read it more quickly and more easily and absorb the information. But it depends on what sort of information you're sharing. I mean, if you're just turning it into note form and it doesn't look like proper copy, then you're going to have the opposite effect, people not wanting to read it.
Okay. Anyone wants to add on top of it anything, or I should move to the next one? Okay, I think better move to the next one. Okay, from Herman, what do you think about advertising sentences that are made wrong on purpose to create viral campaign? Archangela?
Actually, when we want to create, there's the terms when we want to create the viral, we have to know what's the market actually looking for right now. Yeah, we have to be very aware of that, and maybe like we can jump in for that. For the example, like if there is this kind of issue regarding like maybe like celebration or any like big anthems on the national issue, maybe in a good terms, yeah, we can actually jump in from that. Maybe like create some kind of ads or tweaking some copy from that, so that can grab the attention for our audience.
Good. Dheepu, you'd like to add on top of it something?
Well, I mean, I don't vouch for anything misleading, right? So from an SEO perspective, Google rewards you not for your keywords anymore, but they look for the user intent, what the user was looking for, and are they getting that kind of information from your copy, right? So if the user intent is negative, like I visit the website, and if I don't get what I wanted, but you promised me something, but I don't get that from your website or from your service, then you are not fulfilling my intent, right? So in that sense, Google is going to blacklist you. So from organic perspective, from content writing on websites or blogs, yes, don't overpromise. Don't sell anything which is too good to be true.
I think I agree with Dheepu, because like if you get viral so easily, people will not remember you for a long time. I remember last year there's a guy who slept for like 3 hours and make a YouTube live, and he got 3 million views, right? But where is he now, and what he did after the 3 million views? So there's no point of getting the 3 million views. Rather than, you better get 2,000 views and retarget that campaign and get some conversion from there. That turned out as a good effort for your company, rather than just going viral for a wrong reason. Okay, Karen, how a beginner can kickstart or get quick bites on copywriting? Who wants to take it? When you start?
Sure. I'm assuming that the question is how you can sort of start going quickly with your copywriting. Well, my first session, just dive in, see what you can do, but you have to understand your own brand, your audience. Make sure you understand what it is that you're trying to write about. There's no point diving in headfirst into a bit of copy when you don't actually know what it is you're supposed to be selling, who you're selling it to, or what your company usually uses in terms of language.
Okay. Okay, so Dheepu, the next question to you. Any tips in overcoming creative blocks as copywriter?
Sleep well. If you can't write, don't bother too much. If you're stuck at something, just close your laptop, your phone, whatever it is. Go sleep well. I'm sure when you wake up, you'll have some fantastic ideas at the top of your head. But being said that, read more, as Ben said. There's nothing called rubbish. I mean, as copywriters, find every advertisement out there, read what they're talking about, read blogs, read newspapers, read booklets, pamphlets that you get it by the street side. Don't disregard them, because every material out there is very important. You might not know where your inspiration comes from, so never ignore material that you can read. So read everything, fiction, non-fiction, anything, but give your brain that much needed rest as well. So Absolutely. It will definitely come up with great ideas.
Absolutely. There's no alternative of reading to be a good copywriter. So, right. Okay, the next question, I would like to pass it to Archangela. Archangela, this question is, when we are having a long duration campaign, is there any specific time when to change the ad copy, like every 2 weeks, or just look into the conversion and the performance? What should they do?
I would say that we have to see the result first, yeah. I think like if we can use the result as our benchmark, I mean like if it's good enough, then yes, maybe like the kind of benchmark we can use like for the upcoming campaigns. But that's also we can use for optimizing as well. If we see like there are the decreasement on maybe like the CTR and also the conversion rate, then we have to optimize on the ads as well.
Okay, I'm going to take the last question, and I think we all can contribute on it because it's a very interesting question. And I think that's a very good question to end the session. So I would start with Dheepu. So the question is, how can we touch a bit about ethical writing? Because the market is looking for more words, manipulate their audience. Like Genoveva said, over promise, right? So Dheepu, what do you think about ethical writing, and what should we do? Because the market is, we see a lot of practice, like which is probably shouldn't happen. So what's your opinion on it?
Right. Yes, I agree. I mean, it's very important. It's critical to set expectations up front, right? I talked about user search intent. So know what your audience are searching for and deliver them what they're expecting. So it's always very important. Don't overpromise, or don't tell them that you can't achieve. Whether it's a B2B product or a B2C product or service, never write something that you can't achieve, never write something that you can't deliver. So set your expectations upfront, make sure that you deliver what you promise.
Okay. What's your opinion on ethical writing? I think that's a very valid point that person mentioned.
I think ethical writing is the most important point of our time, particularly right now. Everybody is on social media. So we are seeing the spread of false information and fake news. And I think it is our responsibility as copywriters and as digital marketers to stand for and to champion ethical writing and to be truthful in what we are writing. And it doesn't matter whether you're selling, a bottle of homemade skincare product or, an iPhone. You have to be truthful with your audience. You have to tell them what it really is. You don't oversell it, like we've heard. Don't overpromise. If it's something you can do, then say so. If it's something you can't do, then don't. Because trust is the currency of our time. And if you lose the trust of your audience right now, then it doesn't matter how active you are on social media, how good your copy is, you're not going to get that audience that you need. And you won't, your revenue will suffer as a result of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Archangela, I'd like to know your opinion about ethical writing.
Yes, I actually I think it's very important, yeah. And as mentioned by Dheepu and also Olwen, I can say we have to don't overpromise something that we can over, and also be truthful. And as what Dheepu said earlier, we have to set the expectation upfront so the audience know what we offer than what they get from our product as well.
Absolutely. Guys, I'd like to add something on top of it. To me, what is wrong is always wrong. No matter what, it cannot turn it as a right. And in my career, I always, whenever we do SEO or advertisement, we try to avoid the over-promising or false information. You just imagine if iPhone is telling you or Samsung is telling you buy iPhone and you can travel to the moon. And then they said oh, I'm not actually telling you the lie, because if you go to YouTube and you can search traveling on the moon, you'll find some content. So that's what actually we meant. So that would be really not a good feeling. So, definitely you can make people fool with the unethical writing, but when Dheepu and Archangela mentioned, you cannot sustain in a long run. You can get some immediate success. We see some viral posts going on in Malaysia for the 460 ringgit burger. I see everyone is doing it, and that really makes me feel shit. I'm very honest to you, because doesn't matter, it goes with your product, with your ethics, you're just doing it because everyone is doing it. But one thing for sure, one thing I think we all agree, what is wrong is always wrong. What is right is always right. You probably can get success a little bit of later. Ask your management to be patient. If there cannot be patience, they cannot sustain in the long run. To have a good business in the long run, they have to be patient. And I think that's what actually we all discuss. So ethical writing is really important. And that's what I can also see from my last 6-7 years of experience in Malaysia and also a few years in Bangladesh as well. So I think it was a really nice session I had with all of you. Thanks, Dheepu. Thanks, Wen and Archangela. I think it was a really fruitful session. I think if you guys can share to the audience how they can get connect with you, that would be great. So I'm going to share my LinkedIn link into the message box so they can get connect with me. So if you want, you can also share your link as well. So over to you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you so much, you guys. And I was listening in the whole time, and I have to agree 100%. Most of the time, it's very difficult to do the right thing, especially when it comes to copywriting, because the urge, to maybe stretch the truth just that much is always there. But like I said, you guys brought up that it's always important to tell the truth and to always be transparent in whatever you're writing. So on behalf of everyone here at Exabytes, I'd like to thank you for reminding us how important, how powerful, and how beautiful words can be. You guys, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much for a job well done. Nowrid, Dheepu, Olwen, and Archangela, thank you so much for being a part of this event. I'd like to wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.